right? We all go through different struggles. We're all around different types of people. And I've gone through this example with a few of you guys, but think of crabs in a bucket, right? Imagine people at the bottom, or rather just at the same level that you're at. We're all trying to grow, right? And then when we start growing, we start getting to the edge of that bucket. We're at the top of the bucket. Then sometimes those people around us pull us down, or it's kind of weird, and they're acting like, "Oh no, you changed. What's going on? Why are you doing things differently? Why are you trying to act differently?" And the big thing with that is that we are trying to be different. We are trying to act different. We're trying to level up, right? So just think about that in your life with the people you surround yourself with the people you spend your time with the people that you're, talking with or spending time with. And, if it's not benefiting you and it's not really leveling you up, it's not putting you to a higher place, then you need to start cutting some edges because that's the only way we're going to get from point A to point B. There's so many people, there's so many engineers that, they're great engineers, but at the same time, they're not exceptional. We want to be exceptional, and it's very easy to do that nowadays with everything that I've seen. And I'm sure that many of you have seen other engineers or other students that, are a little bit subpar, or rather, they just aren't there. They're kind of sleeping. They're like, okay, well, yeah, I'll snooze, I'll wake up, I'll do this, this, and that. And that's not what it's about. That's not how we're going to get better. That's not how we're going to get to our job. Because the way that we're going to get there is we're going to be different, we're going to be exceptional, and we're going to surround ourselves with people like in this call. You guys should all be connected with one another. And then once you guys are starting to surround yourself with people that are investing in themselves, getting better, personally developing, then that's when things start changing, right? Because I know a lot of you are fighting, a lot of you want to find your jobs, a lot of you want to make a change in your life. And it's going to happen once you start making the actual change within and surrounding yourself with the right people and then transferring that to where you're going to go. Right. So I just want you to think about that, process that, because that's going to be a big topic that we need to talk about week to week to week, that you need to think about week to week to week to week. And then until that changes, nothing's going to change right? So one other thing I want to talk about with mindset is for how to be exceptional. One of the other engineers that I actually talked to this week, I ran into, he was great. He's cool. Not going to name names, but there's still that mentality of me, 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 me. And he's looking for another job right now. He's working on something remote. And I asked him, well, I mean, like, why aren't you trying to go out and make it happen or change or find a different position? And like a big thing with that is that he's like, well, I like my remote work, it's comfortable. I want to be, and it's like balance is easier, right? And I mean, that's the case with a lot of people. I'm sure many of you know that remote work is super hot and that's something that we really all want to do, right? And a lot of people are like, okay, I'm only doing strictly remote. And that, I mean, that's new. I mean, that's new since COVID, right? I mean, that hasn't always been the trend. And, being in person, that's something as simple as it sounds is unique. If you want to be in person and you're okay with being in person, you're already beating 50% of the people that only want to be remote right? So, I mean, even just the basics like that, you can get ahead from just applying different ideas like that, for example, right? So, the next thing I want to talk about is going to be power versus force. This is actually from a book, but I'm going to touch on it briefly. So, maybe you guys are operating in a different fashion. I just want you to think about what you're doing day to day, where your energy comes from, right? And just start thinking about how you're processing different issues, right? Are you coming from a place of anger? Are you coming from a place from someone's pissing you off? Someone is like, maybe you want to beat someone or someone you're envious of, or there's someone you want to be like, or there's someone that's got an internship and that kind of annoyed you because you don't have an internship, or there's something along those lines where you're fueled by that, and that's kind of all right. Well, all right. So now let me just go, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes we need to operate from a place of instead of force, because that's force, you're forcing it. That's kind of coming in as an arrogant or not the right mentality. Force versus power, where we're coming from a place of putting people up or wanting to have more for people. And I struggled this for a while. I was always so envious of everyone else getting internships. You hear every day or you see on LinkedIn, oh, I got this internship. Oh, and then you talk with your friends when you go to school. Oh, hey, oh, great, you had an interview. Okay, and then afterwards, I'm like, all right, damn it. All right, well, I want to interview too, right? And I hear you, and I've been through that so much. And until I started, being a little bit more grateful and pushing the happiness or wanting more for people, then things started changing and more attractive things came into my life once I started, you know, leaning towards that. So if you guys lean towards that more or just go put people up, and sometimes you need to fake it, right? Because that's not going to come from a place of genuineness right off the bat if you don't have that mental switch and you change like that, right? So you might still have that little, oh, I don't know. But then once you start talking with people and you start putting them up and putting them higher, like, okay, great, go you, and then maybe make a post on LinkedIn, thank or congratulating them, and you start faking it until it becomes who you are, right? Just like a great example is if you're looking to get in shape, you need to fake being super healthy and super fit until you get there, right? Because you need to have the same actions as someone who is super fit and healthy to become super fit and healthy. So to be someone who is in a place of power, you need to do the things that are going to require you to be in a place of power before you're there, right? So hopefully that made sense. Then we're recording. You guys can go back and watch the recording later. The last small thing I want to talk about is changing this week. I've talked with a lot of you. A lot of you are grinding, and I'm super proud of you. We're going to go over some accomplishments here in a minute. But if you're struggling and you're needing to change, and you know you need to change, or you know there's something you need to do to stop, or something you need to stop to change, and you keep on doing it, like snoozing, like skipping workouts, like not applying the jobs, like not studying and procrastinating, etc. The list can go on and on and on. I need you to identify one thing and stop it this week and change it, because that's the only way that you're going to get closer to your goals. Because right now you're lying to yourself if you know you should do something and you're not doing it, right? So if you stop and cut that out, and then you start doing the things that you know you need to do, that's going to get you closer to where you need to be. And then, how I always say, I believe in not preparing for interviews because I don't want to prepare to be someone else who I'm not. So if you become the person that you are and you don't need to prepare to be someone different, just with what I just said, by cutting out the thing that you need to stop, that's going to get you closer to where you want to be, right? So